Good evening, dog-faced soldiers. You're listening to the 3rd Infantry Division Realism Gaming Podcast. I'm First Sergeant Brock, and with me tonight, I have our guests, Sergeant McKenzie.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sergeant McKenzie, Public Affairs Office, NCOIC.
Sergeant First Class Winters.
Hello, Sergeant First Class Winters.
And we have Warrant Officer Nikeus.
Good day.
Gentlemen, welcome. All right, so to get things started, as per usual, let's go over our big promotions and billet changes in first quarter 2023. It's been a busy year, a lot of activity, and we've had some growth along with it. So within Alpha Company, our own Chief Warrant Officer 2, Cooper, was promoted to 3-Cab Executive, from 3-Cab Executive Officer to Brigade Commander. He has since entered Officer Candidate School, and he's preparing for his commissioning in second quarter. At the same time, he is continuing to lead from the front. Now, within 3-Cab as well, we have Chief Dio, Chief Warrant Officer 2. He was subsequently promoted to 3-Cab Executive Officer, strengthening the brigade with his wealth of experience from the Army and beyond. Also, within 1st Platoon Widowmakers, our own platoon sergeant here, Sergeant First Class Winters, was promoted from Staff Sergeant back in January. So he's enjoying the senior NCO rank and really continuing to lead on the ground from the front as well. And at the same time, Sergeant Ayers took charge of 3rd Squad Spartans. I mean, he does care for them very well, very effectively, as squad leader, and he's subsequently been promoted to Staff Sergeant. So, like I said, we've had growth in both our infantry and our aviation elements within Alpha Company, and these leaders are continuing to bring out the most in our soldiers. Now, next, let's go over some news from the prior quarter. So, for this, I'm going to have our PAO expert here, Sergeant McKenzie, take the reign.
Thank you, First Sergeant. So, from the prior quarter, the 3rd Infantry Division actually, they returned home from Operation Blue Giant back to their home state of Georgia at Fort Stewart. From there, Alpha Company was given their holiday block leave in December, and subsequently went right into their field training exercises, or FTX, leading up to their situational training, or STX, at the National Training Center over at Fort Irwin, California. Around that time, 1st Battalion was given their orders for the upcoming operation, which was dubbed Operation Crimson Sand. For the FTX and STX, that lasted about 14 weeks, starting from around January and ending in mid-April. For Operation Crimson Sand, the only thing that we really know to this point is that it's located in the southeastern portion of Turkey, going up against the ISIS militants.
All right, so yeah, right there, we've got a lot of work on our plate. We've gotten into it here with our first combat mission High Ground, this past Sunday. Yeah, it's a new terrain. We've got some new enemies that we're up against, some new conditions that we're fighting through. But at the same time, we're adapting and, wielding our firepower, our expertise, and our combat effectiveness very well in the face of a determined enemy. Now, we'll have more on that going forward. You can always check out the 3rd Infantry Division Realism Gaming Unit YouTube channel. We have videos every week with footage from our missions and other events. Now, next up, I'm going to go over news and updates about our staff shops and DMOS availability. Now, S1, our recruiting and retention shop, is hiring recruiters. So if you want to get in there, start bringing in more soldiers into our unit, expanding our ranks here, and contributing to our firepower, go ahead and talk with RRO and see what you can do for them. Now, our Force Improvement Group, responsible for training, is hiring drill instructors. We have several billets open within our DI Corps, and we're looking for experienced RSOs to move up into that shop. Once that happens, we'll be able to start hiring additional RSOs as well to keep things moving and growing alongside the unit. In addition, our S2 Intelligence Shop recently hired readiness NCOs for both Alpha Company and 1st Platoon Widowmakers. And with those soldiers coming in, we've rounded out the shop with expert intelligence analysts. We've got 4 men in there doing the planning, the analysis, and all the other work that goes into developing outstanding missions here in Third ID. And our public affairs office is hiring journalists and broadcast combat journalists. So if you like to write, if you like to put news up on the web, we've got a spot for you there. And if you record or if you stream your missions here within the unit, we're definitely looking for some expertise in that area as well. So let me say, if you're PV2, E3 PFC, if you want to make it into the E4 Mafia and earn Specialist, you need to get a DMOS. All right, so look to these shops, look up their NCOICs, speak with them, and put in an application for one of those billets. All right, next up, we're going to move on to interesting Arma 3 related news. So, Sergeant Kenzie, all yours.
Yeah, so right now the third ID is actually looking at a new game. It's called Direct Contact. It's being handled right now by a small team of developers, and we've been pretty close knit with them. Currently, it's in the early development stages. It uses the new Unreal Engine 5. The devs are guarding their assets very closely, but Major LaFlash recently played with the developers and put some videos out on the third ID YouTube channel. So if you guys are interested in seeing what the future of our gaming unit would look like, go ahead and check out those prior videos that we have up on our YouTube. They're not difficult to spot out within the plethora of other videos that we release on a pretty weekly basis.
I'm glad you brought that up because, Arma 3's been out for 10 years. It's a mainstay of Milsim, not just here, but around the world. And it's been our game here for, the last, handful of years. So it really is a very, I guess, prominent part of our community in terms of gameplay. But that wasn't the first. It won't be the last. We've played many, many different games within Third ID, going back almost 20 years now, and we're looking to the future as well. So, yeah, I remember we talked about some updates to Armor Reforger last quarter. Little bits and pieces about that. To be honest with you, looking back, there really isn't a whole lot new about Arma. We've had some creator DLCs come out in the last couple of years, that kind of stuff, but nothing really groundbreaking, innovative. Looking at Direct Contact and having played it in its alpha state anyway, as a tester, it's the next level. All right, yeah, I can't really disclose too much, no more than Major could anyway, and it is still really a work in progress. It's not a complete product, but the potential I think is outstanding. So I'm really looking forward to seeing more about that, and what we can do with it as a unit.
Yeah, Roger that. For Sergeant, I've been a part of the third ID going on and off since 2016, and of that, I've been the entire time playing Arma 3. It's been a big, you know, breath of life update for this unit since we go all the way back to the old days of America's Army, Day of Defeat. I believe for a while we were even playing Battlefield 2. Arma 3 and even Arma 2 way back when was something that you could start bringing realism a little bit more to the forefront. You're able to peek around corners. You can have different weapon positions if you want to go into the sitting position. Most people don't go into the sitting position in a combat environment, but if you have the need to, Arma 3, was the game for you. And you are correct. This game has been out since 2013, um, and apart from the Armor community, doing a lot of community spotlights. We even had a community spotlight on our unit a few months back. Other than that, and with any other mods that kind of come out, yeah, it's now it's time to start looking at new innovations and maybe even some reinventing of the wheel for us.
Sure, the U.S. Army has to do the same thing each generation. They get new tools, new equipment, new gear, new knowledge, new training to really update and develop their capabilities, and it's going to be no different here. So, yeah, so much under wraps at the moment, but coming up over the next couple of months, over the next quarter, I'm really looking forward to hearing more from the folks over in the dev shop of Direct Contact. So we'll see what happens. All right, so next up, we were going to go over our Soldier of the Quarter segment here. As I mentioned at our introduction here, we have Warrant Officer 1, Alvin Nikeus. He is one of our aviators over in 3 Cab Falcons, our combat aviation detachment. So I'm going to ask you some questions here, Warrant Officer, and allow the rest of the unit and who don't know you that well, and the rest of our audience as well, to see what you're all about. So first of all, I want to welcome you to the podcast.
Thank you for that.
All right, so let's start things off. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am Alvin Nikeus, or Warrant Officer 1, Alvin Nikeus. I am 16 years old, and I live and come from southern Sweden. On my spare time, I enjoy watching shows or movies, and right now I'm pretty much in the middle of watching The Walking Dead. Come a bit in that, probably about season 5 now. So I do that. I also spend a lot of time with my friends in real life, or playing video games. Of course, every weekend here with the third ID. I'm currently going to school to become a assistant nurse and graduate in a few years, and then to continue my studies in university to become a qualified nurse, trauma nurse. I also do have a big interest in military and military aviation. Hence, I am in 3 Cab. And one day I do strive to actually join the Swedish Army to be a combat medic.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So, I mean, you're a busy kind of guy. Got a lot going on, over in your neck of the woods there. So, I mean, just that's so much to track. I have to ask you, just off the top of my head, has anything in Arma influenced you in terms of your interest in a professional or educational life, or I mean, have you experienced anything here in the unit that you think or that you have been able to help guide you in your real life development?
I wouldn't say Arma has affected me that much, but obviously it has affected me a bit. Uh, I've always kind of been planning to join the medical career and be a nurse in real life. But then I do believe pretty much thanks to this unit and me being here really got me interested in the military, and that's what got me striving to join the army one day and actually be a medic.
Gotcha, because I see a lot of overlap. What you can do, what you have done in the field, in the unit here, and what you're getting into, over on the other side there. That's pretty cool. So I hope it goes really well for you. It sounds very exciting, actually.
Yeah, thank you for that.
All right. Well, let me ask you another question. Why did you join Third ID, and what's kept you here?
I got the Arma 3 on a Steam sale in about October 2021. And I ended up sending a message in the Arma 3 Discord in the Looking for Uni channel. And I ended up actually being messaged by Major himself, and he told me a bit about the unit. I joined the Discord, checked out the website, and I just thought immediately it was a perfect fit for me. So I joined at 15-year-old to join as a recruit with the delayed entry program in late 2021. And then I ended up having to leave the unit actually after probably about 2 months due to school being very stressful and stuff. But yeah, I made the decisions to come back in the unit in June of 2022, and I've stayed here ever since. And what keeps me here is definitely the people that I get to play with every weekend. I always look forward for the next weekend to arrive, so that I get to have all the fun and enjoyable moments that I get from the people in this unit.
Well, I'd say we're better off with you here. Appreciate all your hard work over all these months with you, both enlistments. I mean, you were pretty solid. Yeah, you were young, new to Arma, but you trained up pretty quick, and you really brought a lot of good skill sets, to the rest of us here, and we're all benefiting from it. So keep up the good work.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, now you mentioned some memorable moments. What's the, I don't know, the funniest, the most memorable, your most favorite moment here in the unit?
I would definitely have to say it was doing a fun up a few months ago. I remember clearing a building together with Sergeant First Class Winters actually, and Specialist Perez. So we ended up clearing the same building, which in some way, uh, I don't know how, ended up with Winter zip tying me and Perez inside the building and detonating a demo block inside the building with me and Perez still inside. So I definitely gotta say that's one of the funniest moments that I can remember from this unit.
Well, I hope you survived. I don't know if I'd be laughing if Sergeant First Class blew me up, but I guess to each his own. It's an adventure all the same.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you. You started as a E1 private like everyone else here in the unit. You've made it up. Earned your warrant. You're serving as a Army aviator now in 3 Cab, as I mentioned here. What advice do you have to give your fellow soldiers to help them in their own careers?
I would say my best advice to soldier in this unit is to stay motivated, active, and dedicated to the unit. Always have a good mindset and have your own goals, and definitely strive to reach those goals. And if and when you do, uh, just continue setting up new goals and do your thing. And I would say that will definitely take you far.
Roger that. All right. Now let me ask, which of the 7 Army core values is most important to you and why?
I would say the most important army value for me is respect. Uh, this is because without caring to respect yourself or others, you won't get far. Uh, Respecting others will make others respect you for who you are and what you do. Being respectful to others will help you make new friends, create relationships, get people to have trust in you, and much more. So I would say being respectful will definitely get you far.
That's good. Yeah, I think you said a lot there. Agreed, 100%. Now, you mentioned the people here. All the good times you've had. The experiences that you've gained. Of all that, what's the biggest thing, the biggest factor that motivates you here in the unit?
It goes back to the people, pretty much. I love playing with everyone in this unit, and I really enjoy it. So getting the opportunity to have a great time playing games and talking to people in this unit is like getting a golden ticket every time. So getting to hop on Arma or other games for that matter, uh, or just hanging out on the TeamSpeak, talking to everyone, is definitely a guaranteed good time. So hadn't it been for the great friends and people here, I probably wouldn't have made it this long in the unit.
Yeah, we've got some good people. Never seen a unit quite like this, but yeah, definitely enjoy it. Now, I got a final question for you here, Warrant Officer. Now, do you have any valuable lessons that you've learned in the unit and that you'd like to share with other soldiers or other listeners who are thinking about joining up?
Yeah, definitely. I would say the most valuable lesson I've learned here is staying dedicated to your goals and making sure you reach them. Uh, for example, if you want to pursue a career as a medic or squad leader in this unit, or whatever, pretty much, make sure you stay dedicated to your goals and that you push your hardest and you do your best at all times to be able to actually reach those goals. I can speak for myself that if I hadn't done my absolute best at all times, I wouldn't have been able to do all the things I have done in this unit.
All right. Well, I appreciate that, and yeah, the way you put it, it's kind of like setting up our objectives. You figure out what the mission is, what you got to do to achieve it, and you just get it done, come hell or high water.
Yeah, for sure.
Good work. Well, Warrant Officer, I really appreciate it. Thank you for joining us today for this segment, and congratulations again on earning Soldier of the Quarter.
Of course. Thank you for starting.
All right. So Sergeant McKenzie, I'm going to hand it over to you so you can take on the Sergeant First Class here with our man behind the rank. This is not his first time on the podcast, as he won Soldier of the Quarter recently. But I want you to have a good time helping everybody in the unit and out get to know our own Sergeant First Class here.
Yeah, roger that, First Sergeant. So, again, everyone, Sergeant McKenzie here, and I'm going to be joined by Sergeant First Class winners. This is the Alpha Company 1st Platoon Sergeant. Now, Sergeant First Class, you have been in this unit for about 1 year and 11 months. You're coming up on 2 years pretty soon. What would be your favorite aspect of the unit within that time?
You know, having spent 2 years here, I can definitely say it's the people. It's just seeing people develop and go through the motions of, like Warrant Officer 1 here said, setting a goal, getting after it, and seeing how maybe, a 15-year-old or whatever goes from a goofy little guy to a soldier I can trust and really gets after it and gets the job done.
Yeah, no, for sure. The people is what gives us our jobs. Um, you know, Personal life, kind of coming to the forefront because we want to get to know you personally. What about things like your favorite food or if you have any pets?
So my favorite food is definitely like a big half-pounder burger. Not even a quarter pound, just half pound. Throw it on the grill, really grill it up good. Get some iceberg lettuce, tomatoes, pickles. Throw that stuff together. Just have a blast of an afternoon. Cooking, maybe having a beer with some friends. Then with pets, I actually recently got a new kitten about 2 months ago, and we dubbed it Kit Kat after the chocolate bar, thanks to their slogan, have a break, have a Kit Kat. Um,
Oh, nice. Hey, it goes a long way when you are working, those long hours. You can come home and you can just have a nice burger,
oh,
sitting next to Kit Kat.
it was really Household Six's idea. She hounded me for months on end, and then I finally caved in, and we went and got the cat. And like I was half tricked because she said, "Hey, let's go," just quote unquote, look at the cats. And of course, we ended up coming home with it.
Oh yeah, and you know what? When it comes to household six, orders are orders.
Exactly.
What about your birthday? We got a birthday coming up soon.
No, negative. My birthday's on the 21st of November.
Oh,
Was
okay.
was born year 2000, so currently 22.
Nice. Well, you know what? That's close enough. I mean, we're already wrapping up first quarter 2023. It's coming up, sooner than we think.
Time
Uh,
flies.
oh yeah. Now what about what do you do for a living outside of the unit?
So currently, I am a software developer for automated software tests for a basically banking company. Not really going more into that.
Nice. What about like do you have any other hobbies that you like to do other than gaming, obviously?
Yeah, like I mentioned, I absolutely enjoy cooking. I have a very interesting fact about me. I have a very strong sense of smell. So when I cook, I generally can figure out what the food needs. But the problem with this hobby is it comes and goes. It's like, I have to really feel like, hey, I want to cook something amazing today, and then only, I can go out and make something great. If I go, I'm kind of hungry, then, it's not going to be that great.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Um, Now, as a sergeant first class, you are an E7. You are a leader of young minds, developing minds, stuff like that. You have people who obviously look up to you. Is there any advice that you would give to your fellow soldiers, or even like new players to the Arma 3 space who might be wanting to enlist with the third ID?
Yeah, absolutely. Just don't be afraid. Whatever you want to go after, just jump in, start going after it. You just do your best, and whatever you set your mind to, especially in this unit, you can absolutely achieve. I came in, the major gave me the spiel about Soldier of Quarter, and I was like, God, that'd be amazing if I could achieve that one day. But it's never going to happen because it was a unit of 60 people. But I set my mind to it, work hard, and I managed to achieve it.
It's you're going up against a lot of competition when it comes to Soldier of the Quarter. A lot of dedicated individuals who come in with something to prove, and each quarter you get we have to recognize that. Now again, I mean, like I kind of go back and forth here when it comes to in the game, and you personally as the person you are. What kind of music are you listening to right now?
For a long time now, you could say that my taste in music is a bit dated. It's not, classical music dated, but I definitely kind of don't even listen to anything that's on the radio right now. I go for, rock and roll, 70s, 80s, 90s, absolute favorites. Rap, again, nothing really new. The old guys, the legends, the originals like Eminem, Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, Ice Cube, all those guys. One of the new ones that I do enjoy is Kendrick Lamar, definitely, because he kind of echoes that OG, mentality.
For sure. I'm a huge Kendrick fan as well, so it's good to find other people who are listening to some of the real ones. You have any siblings? Any of your siblings also like maybe listen to the same music that you're listening to?
Yeah, I do have siblings. I have three of them. All of them half brothers. One from my mom's side, which is oldest of my siblings, but I'm the oldest one. He is currently 12, so 11-year difference there almost. And then two other siblings from my dad's side, again half brothers. So they're really not into the music I am into right now.
That makes sense. Um, Now, I mean, I gotta ask, the cranky E7 trope does not escape most E7s. Do you have like a really big pet peeve, whether that's in real life or if that's like in your unit,
Oh,
in the unit that we're in?
oh yes, absolutely. That 100% has to be OCS Cooper. Now, not really. But if you want to know what the context behind that is, you can go and listen to uh, fourth quarter 2021 podcast. Cooper was there, I was there, and we kind of went back and forth. If you want the context on that, head over there, check it out. It was a great podcast, that one. But returning to the question, it's for me, it's the people who go into a discussion on an argument with a big ego and really don't have any factual arguments to present to the conversation. So all they do is just present their big ego and get emotional, and then the conversation or the discussion or the argument doesn't go anywhere. So that's a really big pet peeve of mine. Can't get over it.
Right. It's all about what before you're jumping into something you probably shouldn't be. Um, it, it- you know, This is a little bit more of like it's a personal one. But we got to know. Is there any like guilty pleasures you might have?
Definitely, and that's Coca-Cola. I could sip Coca-Cola on a unhealthy level, and thanks to me being 22, I can probably still continue doing that, but it's probably going to catch up to me at one point. But we'll see. We'll definitely see.
That actually might even lead into my next question. Is there anything that you could say that you can't live without?
Going through being in the National Guard for quite a while, you understand how really little of your day-to-day life you need to exist, I guess, right? But if I had to name one thing I couldn't live without is just my friends. You know, the friends are your friends are the baseline of everything that you do. The kind of people you surround yourself is a good reflection of yourself, and don't have good friends, I don't think you can go anywhere in life.
No, I mean it's everyone needs people. Um, there anything? Do you have like a bucket list? Is there something that's on your bucket list that you want to cross off? Within the next couple of years or anything like that.
Yes, I've had this on my bucket list for quite a while now. I really desperately want to jump out of a perfectly good airplane. We do it here in the unit, jumping out of a perfectly good airplane, but I really want to go out, experience the real thing, and see how that feels. And I'm pretty much set to do that this summer. So we'll see how that goes. Pretty excited for it.
Nice. No, it is an exciting moment. Speaking out of experience, there's nothing more terrifying than being in the tube of the airplane, pre-jump, and then when you leave the plane, you feel like you're on top of the world. It's something that I think even non-military should be doing at some point in their life. Um, do you have like a favorite movie or anything like that, or even like a favorite TV show? And whichever one you pick, if you can explain like what, or like why is it what's the reason for it being your favorite?
So I've been a movie buff for many years now, but I've come to realization that these days the movie industry has changed so much that I just can't enjoy the movies anymore. Because the movies I like, and I'm going to mention them here in a second, are really story driven, without you having to really suspend your perception of reality to get into the movie and kind of immerse yourself in there. But these days, you go to a movie theater and you really have to do a lot of suspension of belief to have the movie story make any kind of sense. But saying that, the two of my favorites is one is Pulp Fiction. It's kind of a mind-bendy, not really conventional storytelling kind of movie with a bunch of great quotes and a bunch of great memes coming out of it. And then the other one is Good Will Hunting. Both movies from the 90s. Good Will Hunting, about, again, a person, an individual that has so much potential but is failing to achieve it. So he needs to get some good people around him to make sure he can achieve that potential, and eventually he does. It's a movie from the 90s. Don't cry about spoilers. Go see it.
Yeah, I could say, I mean, within my coming age, just as life just kind of rapidly expands, I think I might have seen both of those movies a collective of like 50 or 60 times. Both amazing movies.
Oh yeah, I'm
Um,
definitely one of those people who can go back and rewatch stuff over and over and over again, and each time you start seeing small little things that you didn't see before. And
oh,
also a funny story about Pulp Fiction. First time I watched it, I thought it was the worst movie ever made. Couldn't get through it,
really?
fell asleep for halfway. Yeah, but I think I was 16 at the time, and then I tried rewatching it when I was 18, because this movie has such a high rating on IMDb. Apparently it's one of the greatest movies ever made. One of the greatest. So there has to be something there that just is really good. So I basically pushed myself to watch it, and then it became my favorite.
Nice, nice. Now that being said, I mean, we're understanding who the man behind the rank is. Um, is there anything like, as far as like an embarrassing story or even like a funny moment that's kind of happened to you? And now keep in mind, this can be real life or it can be within the unit.
I think a lot of people will share this funny moment with me in the unit, which happened during STX3. Basically, there was a bridge we needed to cross. We arrived at the bridge to discover that half the bridge has just collapsed, and it was completely blown up, and there was no way of crossing it. But we had seen, 15 minutes ago, that the recon squad had jumped the bridge with their vehicle. So what me and Second Lieutenant Vandal did was look at the situation and go, fuck it. And we sent the entire convoy of vehicles to make that jump. And every single one of those vehicles made across. And then we realized that both of us are still standing on the bridge. So really kind of wacky situation there, but it ended all well. Yeah, one of the moments I cherish. Great.
Oh yeah, and so a lot of people probably, some people who are in the unit will know it because I did make a video out of it because I was there during this exchange. I was at the bottom of the bridge watching you corral a group of soldiers around to try and make a cushion for yourself as you leapt off the bridge, only to call for, at the time when I was the assistant platoon medic, calling over the radio, Mike, I need help. And I go over and check on you, and somehow through a fall that should have impacted your legs a lot more, you somehow stumbled out of there with a broken arm. I remember that very well. And I think the lieutenant actually didn't even call for help either.
No, like I said, jump into things head first, I guess.
The man who jumps into things head first. Now, my last question for you is what would you say is your proudest achievement that you've undertaken and succeeded to this day? So it's a very loaded question, but yeah, it's something that I think, especially as an E7, you've got to have one.
I think it's not even one. It's just a collection of many things here, and it's just the amount of experience I've managed to gain in my 22 years on this planet, with joining the military, working for a while in France, meeting with politicians and discussing politics with one of the ministers here in my country, and it was all kind of a surreal moment. But I'm definitely happy with the amount of experience that I've managed to gain at my age. So I think that's my greatest achievement right now.
Nice. I mean, that is in 22 years. That is plenty for the history books, and I thank you for sitting down with me and talking about everything from real life, your personal life, the unit life, everything like that. From start to finish.
I don't think I'm making it into any history books yet, but we'll see. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Hopefully in good light as well. You never know.
All right. Well, outstanding. I appreciate it, gentlemen. Sergeant, I want to thank you for leading that Man Behind the Rank segment. And Sergeant First Class, I want to thank you again for being back on the podcast to spend some more time with us. All right. So next up, let's move on to our interesting mod discussion. Now, each podcast will talk about Arma 3 mods that we've started using within the unit or that have caught our eyes as soldiers here and that interest us for one reason or another. So I know Sergeant McKenzie, you had something about Zeus's additions you wanted to talk about.
Oh yeah. So the addition of Zeus editions has been something that has been like requested the world over by uh, first of all myself. I being a temporary Zeus during the FTX STX phase. Um, and as well as I'm sure other members of S2, any I guess rapid responding Zeus can use Zeus editions, and like within like just a couple of seconds, and it adds so much more to the playability of enemies, and how soldiers come across other either civilians or POWs, anything like that. And this can be anything from spawning attack dogs. And I say again, we are spawning attack dogs. If you remember back in the old Call of Duty 4 days where you get a kill streak and one of them being attack dogs, and you're having to run around and try and not get bitten and die and have to respawn because they are extremely fast and very lethal. That also being said, comes into our wounds. Now there are you can do actual ace wounds and create ace injuries It can be a random injury. You can actually go in depth into this particular AI or an actual soldier's medical menu, and you can actually add specific wounds. Now, this really goes hand in hand with our medical corps. Myself, I am also, outside of being the NCOIC of PAO, I'm also Alpha Company First Platoon's platoon medic. For training purposes, creating a random injury or creating, injuries through the ACE medical menu, this has been something that has been desperately needed in order for training, like training purposes, and good just kind of random events that you can kind of stumble across as you're committing to a mission for like a long period of time. Yeah, it really goes into just about anything and everything that you can really possibly think of as a dedicated Zeus.
Like you said, I think it adds a deeper level of detail. I mean, the kind of vanilla Zeus, modules and options that we have, are, they're pretty broad, but being able to, really get down on, these levels of details. I mean, yeah, I mean, you can do a lot with that in combat or combat scenarios, but also, like you mentioned, in training, I think that's really crucial, and we do a lot. I mean, there's 18 different training courses that we run from OSUT, all the way up to, I mean, we run Jump Master School. We got Pathfinder School reopening next month. So we take that pretty seriously. One, for the realism, and then two, because it legitimately produces better soldiers in our operations. So yeah, more tools for Zeusing, I think, when definitely utilized and applied appropriately, can help just about everybody in the unit reach that next level. That's what I'm trying to do as first sergeant. Everybody's got to start somewhere, but if we keep moving up to the next level on a continuous basis, I mean, we will be unstoppable in the field. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of what we can do with that particular mod now that's in our pack. All right. Any other mods that you gentlemen would like to discuss?
I believe I heard Warrant Officer Nikeus talking about the addition of the new airframes for the AH-60 or the AH-64 and the UH-60.
Yes, first one, that is correct. So in quarter 1, we added the Hatchet AH-60 pack and the AH-64 longbow official mode, and those are realistic versions of the Blackhawks and the Apaches. So those give us more immersion by being interactable inside the cockpit, as well as having to be realistic in accordance to physics, by having to go according to torque and uh, you know getting losing RPM if you do over torque or whatnot. So this is a great addition for us pilots and obviously crew chiefs in the Blackhawk. And then of course for the Apache, that goes the same for them, for the pilot and the gunner.
All I know is that damn longbow sounds really scary on the ground. When that thing starts lobbing 30 mils over your head, or you hear missiles or rockets screaming down, man, it really gets your attention. Definitely increase the pucker factor there in our SDX for me, anyway.
Oh yeah, and the sound immersion from the spooling of the engines and the rotors has definitely gotten a good bump up as well. If you listen to the RHS versions of the AH-64 and the UH-60 compared to these newer versions, they took a really big bump in the sound department.
Yep, I love it. I'm all about that immersion. So whatever we can do, let's keep doing it. So it's good stuff. All right, gentlemen. Well, I think we were getting just about here to the end of our podcast. Been a good run this quarter. Really enjoyed talking to you guys. Getting to know you each better as individuals and soldiers here in the unit, and just letting the rest of the world know what we're up to. Now, we're going to continue in Operation Crimson Sand. Like I mentioned, we just started this past Sunday, and we've got the rest of the year just about take care of ISIS in country. They've been threatening a lot of NATO and U.S. assets in southeastern Turkey. We've got a big air station there, as well as some radar stations that contribute to NATO missile defense. So it's a big area, a lot going on, a lot of uncertainty, but we're there to make sure that continuity continues with all the NATO operations that are protecting Europe and everyone beyond. So definitely check out our YouTube channel if you haven't recently. Take a look at the website. We've got a lot in our news articles in terms of the operation and all the other events and activities of the unit. But again, gentlemen, I want to thank each of you for being here tonight. Sergeant McKenzie, appreciate you in all your work in PAO and helping to lead the podcast.
For sure, First Sergeant. And then also thank you to our guests, our first class winners, the man behind the rank, and Warrant Officer Alvin Nikeus, our honored Soldier of the Quarter for quarter 1 2023. And hope that we see all of you again in quarter 2.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Outstanding. All right, gentlemen, like I said before, keep up the good work. And yes, we will be back probably about this time in July with our second quarter podcast. So stay tuned for that. But until then, this is First Sergeant Brock reporting out.
What's up, Third ID? I wanted to take a quick minute to say first, thank you for watching our quarter 1 2023 podcast, as well as give a good shout out to our hosts, First Sergeant Brock, Sergeant McKenzie, and our guest speakers, Sergeant First Class winners, Warrant Officer Nikeus. Thank you for coming in and sharing a little bit about yourself and why the Third ID is special to you. I'm here to take a couple seconds to say thank you. As we go into the next quarter of quarter 2, at the end of it, we hit our 20-year anniversary. 20 years as a Realism unit, serving gaming communities, America's Army, Day Defeat, Battlefield throughout the years, Medal of Honor, Insurgency, and most big is Arma. Arma's been a huge part of our success as a Realism unit. We've been in here for 10 plus years with Arma 3 prior to that. Arma 2, Arma Operation Arrowhead, but it's a big part of who we are. And then obviously a little bit about the podcast you guys might have heard, what the future looks like for us. So we're going to keep grinding, keep going for another 20 years. But I'm here to talk about our past 20 years. I'm calling all former and all retired soldiers to report in, to get in our team speak, to come say hello. Our Discord's down below the link. Please join. We have certain roles for you as well. If you're a former soldier, retired soldier, if you served a couple months with us, or you served years, 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, please come in and report in. We're trying to get our former and retired soldiers back here with us, because come July 2nd is our promotion and award ceremony at 1300 EST. We want to pay tribute to our retired, our former soldiers, those that have really grinded throughout the 20 years that we've been here to form and make the Third ID the way we are currently right now. So again, we want to honor and tribute to your service throughout those years. So I hope to see you there once again, July 2nd, 1 p.m., 1300 EST. Be in our TeamSpeak. Be a little early, right? If you're at 1300, you're late, right? But I hope to see you there, and thank you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Not fancy, just tough. Rock of the Marn. Thank you.